realize their best friend was the one. What gave it away? Hunter and I had been best friends since we were like 10 years old. We grew up on the same street, our moms were friends, the whole thing. We were inseparable until high school ended, and then we both went to different colleges and kinda lost touch. I moved back to my hometown after college, but Hunter stayed away for a few more years. We'd text occasionally, but nothing serious, just checking in or sending memes. TBH. I dated a few guys during that time, but nothing ever felt right. IDK. How to explain it, but something was always missing. Then my grandma passed away. She practically raised me after my parents divorced. And I was absolutely devastated. The funeral was small, just family and close friends. I was standing there greeting people when someone hugged me from behind, and I just knew it was Hunter before I even turned around. He had driven 6 hours just to be there for me. He didn't even know my grandma that well, but he remembered how important she was to me. I literally broke down crying on his shoulder, and he just held me there for like 20 minutes, not saying anything, just being there. After the funeral, he said he was staying in town for a few days and asked if I wanted company. We ended up spending the whole week together, just like when we were kids. He helped me sort through grandma's things and listened to all my stories about her without getting bored. One night, we were going through old photo albums and found pictures of us as kids. There was this one where we were maybe 12, dressed up for Halloween. I was a zombie cheerleader, and he was some weird alien thing, LOL. We were both missing teeth and had our arms around each other looking so happy. I looked up from the photo and caught him staring at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Or maybe I had, but never noticed. IDK. But it made my stomach do this weird flip thing, and I quickly looked away and changed the subject. The next few weeks were different. Hunter decided to move back to our hometown and got an apartment like 10 minutes from mine. We started hanging out almost every day again, but something had shifted. I kept catching myself looking at him when he wasn't paying attention, noticing things like how his eyes crinkled when he laughed or how he always remembered exactly how I like my coffee. I started making excuses to touch him, like fixing his collar or brushing something off his shoulder, and I swear he was doing the same thing. We'd be watching a movie and somehow end up with our shoulders pressed together even though the couch was plenty big. The moment I knew though was so stupid and ordinary that I almost missed it. We were grocery shopping, and I was trying to decide between two different types of cereal. Hunter just reached over, grabbed both boxes and put them in the cart saying, "Life's too short to choose just one cereal." And I just stood there in the middle of the cereal aisle having this massive realization that I was in love with my best friend. It wasn't because he bought me cereal, but because in that moment I could suddenly picture us doing this exact same thing for the next 50 years and it felt right. I must have looked weird because he asked if I was okay and I just blurted out, "I think I'm in love with you," right there between the Lucky Charms and the Frosted Flakes. He just stared at me for what felt like forever and then started laughing. I was about to die of embarrassment when he said, "I've been in love with you since we were 15, you idiot." Turns out he had a crush on me all through high school but never said anything because he was afraid of ruining our friendship. And then when we reconnected at the funeral, he promised himself he'd tell me how he felt but kept chickening out. We abandoned our shopping cart right there and went back to my place to talk and kiss. A lot of kissing happened TBH. That was 4 years ago and we got married last summer.